guys, in today's podcast, we have Sagar Sabre, quite a veteran in the RPA space, has been currently delivering a technical account manager role, uh, and has got a varied experience right from discovery to design to testing to deployment to production and with regards to support. Um, has got around 7 years of experience in RPA and overall a decade years of experience in the RPA space along with his entire career journey in IT. Uh, I'm glad he's there with us today, and we're going to talk about quite a wonderful topic, and the topic is going to be less discussed pitfalls of automation. And got wonderful thoughts, questions that we're going to ask Sagar today so that we could get a holistic view. And I hope you guys would enjoy the podcast. So glad, Sagar, you're here with me. Very good evening
Good evening.
and welcome to my podcast.
Thank you,
How's it
Srinath.
feeling?
Yeah, feeling great. I think we are unveiling quite a different thoughts here.
Could you share some examples of automations that haven't delivered the expected results in that particular project or that program? And if you have such examples, we would also like to understand what were the underlying reasons for these outcomes.
So, one example I can give is basically chatbots
Okay.
and people of different type, people from different region, different type of people interact with the chatbots and they expect good answers or satisfactory responses from chatbot for the queries that they ask chatbot. We have seen examples wherein they are getting some nuisance answers, and that is where it needs more fine tuning. It needs more work with respect to how it's been designed, developed, and what data has been used to train it basically. So that was one scenario, and then the end user got frustrated badly because they were not getting the proper responses from the chatbot. And then overall, we improved the responses. We improved. We added. We added their sentiment analysis and all and everything. We added multiple things to understand exactly what user wants to, what they require actually, what queries they are asking, where it should be navigated and all. So we have improved over the period of time. We fine tuned it and then we delivered it.
Okay. So, good you spoke about chatbot is because when we talk about automation, we talk about bots and RPA and ITP. But yes, chatbot is also part of automation.
Exactly.
And I think very rightly pointed. If the prompts are not indexed correctly
Correct.
with the responses and if there are not many databases that are aligned to these prompts, then obviously you would start getting vague answers, and
Exactly.
the expected result is likely to be not received as perceived by the customer. So
Right.
bang on, and I like the way you have put it across.
Yeah.
And hence the next question. Now, when you face such challenges, okay, did you ever come up with any ethical concerns or consequences which you never thought of, okay, but have resulted out of the implementation of automation? Have you got such unintended consequences?
Yeah, I can think of one use case actually wherein we all apply for the we all I mean I'm not going to apply, but people apply for the jobs
Yeah.
in different organizations with their resumes. And we all know that what happens with those resumes. There are automated resume scanning things working in the background to scan your resume and then it shortlists you depending on maybe the keywords and then your experience and the skill sets that you have. Now, to program such kind of a automation, you need a huge training data. And passing all the training data is something we receive the data from customers and then we train our model based on that. But if your data is biased, training data, let's say you are favoring some region, particularly people from some region, resources from particular region or particular experience, maybe that or maybe where you add some other parameters to favor some resources. That is where I think the unethical things comes into the picture, and you need to be absolutely unbiased with such kind of training the automation. Otherwise, automation is going to create problems.
I think right you said. So for example, so what you meant was, if I'm only looking for, in my previous experience, if I'm only looking for individuals from maybe overseas, again, who would fit in the role for a EMEA region, and very close to Dubai and Oman and all, then obvious, and then if you just don't engineer that data and just put it into the system. And if you're trying to look out for a global role, there are chances you might just get data points only related to Dubai and Oman and not other countries. Exactly. Your feed has not gone properly. Exactly. Yes. And that's the unintended consequence that you could think of. Fantastic. I think this also correlates to various potential losses, and that is where when you spoke about jobs, this thing struck my head that have you ever addressed such potential loss of jobs, or displacement of human workers because of automations coming into play? Have you ever faced such situation, and how have you addressed it?
So it's been there since long now. Since the day automation start, that term start coining. From that day, if the automation is going to be there, then it might replace that. It might replace humans, or it may completely throw humans out of their work skills or jobs. That has always been there, like an elephant in a room. But how we address it is giving them a confidence that you are not mean to do what automation should be doing, right? So automation is supposed to help you in your day-to-day tasks, wherein your intelligence, your skill set, your experience can be of a greater help to the organization in achieving greater heights.
Absolutely.
You are not supposed to do this. And then reskilling or upskilling them to even help the other colleagues in their automation journey. So it will replace your redundant tasks, but it cannot replace you as a person or a human who has a ability to think and decide, who has emotions, who has feelings, who has we can take decisions based on multiple things. We can think in a wide spectrum, so that this automation cannot replace intelligence. Human intelligence it cannot replace. So that is where the person or a person working on that particular task, he or she will focus on these things now, and then you are not worried about losing a job. You are not worried about upscaling yourself. You are worried about improving your even the professionally making yourself a strong candidate now, and then you can go to the higher roles. But you achieve greater heights then. Otherwise, you'll keep stuck into that redundant task forever your life. You'll not achieve greater heights.
True, true. That's like a fantastic, I would say, a response to this question. Quite a touchy topic, and needs to be handled with a lot of care. Because jobs are getting displaced is quite touchy. Impacts a lot of individuals' life. But yes, if handled correctly,
Exactly.
with reskilling would really help. With this, the next question that I had was, what are some challenges that you have faced in relation to maintaining and updating automations over the time?
Yeah.
And how do these challenges impact operational efficiency?
It impacts a lot. And it is absolutely necessary that from the word go you start thinking about it, not after you implementing the automations. Right from designing aspect, or right from deciding the process, and looking at what is there in the process as of now. Even standardizing that. First part is that standardize what it is there currently, and then you automate it. Okay, that is the first step. And then when you automate it, you think of at least 1 year ahead of the time that this may change, that may change. So what are the things you are going to accommodate in your automation as of now? For example, we have a automation next set of activities in UI console, wherein the selectors as the level. Basically, one fails, another here is another selector is there to back you, and then there is also image based things back you, and then there is an anchor based things that are also backing after that as well. So earlier it was not like that. It was only a selector, one way of communicating with that element. That's done. If it fails, it fails. But here, that failure is again handled properly. So in the longer run, if something fails, there are what I can say, there are backups available. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. It will help you at that level. Again, coming to even the longer run, we need to make sure how we can make it more dynamic, how we can control things from the outside, how we can give more controls, let's say from configurations point of view, how we can add more and more things which are configurable. Let's just like fine tuning the things. Okay, my frequency is not matching here, I'll just fine tune it. Maybe fine tune it with let's say some configuration file or DB or maybe assets or maybe some other inputs and all these things. So quickly you are updating to the changes. So that is how you keep yourself up with the changing maybe technology or applications being changed or the processes are getting flows are getting changed like that.
Perfect. So if you are thinking of automation, ensure that you have maintenance also planned.
Exactly.
Because maintenance is quite resource sensitive.
Exactly.
And resource doesn't mean just people, but also means technology.
Yes.
And the main crux is that if your maintenance is solid, the automation that you have built will always be sustainable and resilient.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Now, in your experience, could you further elaborate on situations where automation has led to a decrease in the quality of outputs or services? And if you have these concerns found, how did you address them?
So we need to consider limitations of automations. We need to consider every aspect associated with that automation, not just technical but non-technical as well. For example, let's say you're automating. I'll give you one example, and this could be a life-threatening thing. So let's say we have automated something with respect to ambulances. An ambulance can get, I think, or let's say from point A to point B, it can get the shortest possible or the quickest possible route to the destination. But you need to also consider at the same time live data, live traffic, and the potential increase in a traffic by the time you reach that point. Let's say now it is showing you that you will reach there in 1 hour. But once you reach the point of 30 minutes, there will be sudden rush of traffic. Then you will take another route. So these kind of scenarios which can be predicted with again data, trained data, that should be considered. Otherwise, if you just go ahead with the solution that automation is giving at this moment, then it might fail. Automation should predict depending on the let's say the time factor should also get into consideration, that over the period of time what challenges can come, and it should highlight those challenges to you even before that it comes.
Yeah. And I think onto this question, I relate to one solid example wherein we were running bots for financial domain with regards to processing of invoices. And normally, when there is the end of a month or something, you have a lot of or end of a quarter. Let's not get a month, but end of a quarter, and especially if it is March ending, something around that. There are a lot of invoices that needs to get processed, and luckily we had a dashboard which kept on telling us that every hour how much are the invoices being processed and how much is the amount being processed, and how much is the backlog. Now this live feed from the dashboard enabled us to ensure that the bots are well staggered across the infrastructure.
Okay.
Rather than running the bots on maybe one or two or three VMs, we allocated more VMs during that particular phase.
Exactly.
So yes, automation can go ahead and give adverse effects if you have not forecasted or planned the inefficiencies that you are going to see, or a sudden rush in the input, or the external conditions that prevail in the automation. So
Exactly.
that forecasting has to be done, and the I would not say that's the downside of automation, but somewhere we have not understood the process end to end
Yeah.
from a business perspective, and we
So
align too much on technique.
there
I think
was
that's where it is.
one more good use case wherein we implemented something very innovatively is let's say we have thousands of items in the queues to process for automation, and suddenly they start failing due to some reason. But your automation is designed, it has a well built exception handling and everything, but it will handle exception for all those 1000 and fail all of them. So to prevent that, automation foresees, or automation continuously tries to understand what type of failures are there, and whether we are getting same type of failures consecutive. Let's say out of 1000 queues, I am getting consecutive failures for 10 of the same type. Probability is it will be same for all 1000.
Yeah.
Then automation stops itself at that point, and it also stops parallel running automations of the same type, and the notification goes to human or the business user or RPA. Please look into it and then restart it. That's something we need to consider. Preventive measures.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then hence the next question would be: since we are putting the maintenance, we are putting the measures. Now, how are we going to ensure that the automation that we have built on the processes
Okay.
is adaptable to the changing business needs and the evolving technology? How do you manage this situation?
So that is a change management that comes into the picture. So change request always flows in, even during the implementation time and even after the implementation, there are a lot of change requests. So they need to be flown strategically, and they need to be flown with a proper channel. Otherwise, if during the implementation also, if you keep on accepting those change requests and adding them in your automation will never reach its goal to go live. So the change request needs to be prioritized. They needs to be well planned, so that at least you go live with whatever critical change requests are there. After you go live, you achieve certain goal, you achieve target, then you add another, you accept other change requests which are more critical and more business impacting. You put them into the picture, you develop, implement that into automation, and slowly and steadily take that into account, and then go ahead with the change request. But one thing is that, as I mentioned earlier as well, it should be configurable in such a way that you do not need maximum change. With the small changes here and there, it should be up and running. Your change request should not change everything from start to end. Otherwise, there is no point in having a good resilient automation in picture, right? You change the entire flow of the process. So that's like a new development itself.
Yes.
So that needs to be prioritized and understood what type of how it is going to impact.
Yes. So if I have to draw a conclusion, then flexibility is crucial.
Exactly, flexibility is crucial.
But your bot should be a modular type of a build.
Yes.
If you want to fix something, if you want to change something, you fix into that modular code.
Yes.
Stitch it back and put it back
Put
in
it back.
production.
Yeah.
Maybe follow an agile delivery and deliver as per the customer needs.
Yeah.
So that's how you would manage the business and the evolving needs.
Yeah.
And from a technology perspective, where the technology is evolving, how are you going to maintain it? Maybe that is something also important, right?
Exactly. So with evolving technologies, again that plug and play thing comes into the picture. That if suppose instead of UI interactions, I'm now having API accesses, then for that particular block of that entire plug and play, that this is the block I need to change. Okay, and these are the standard inputs that I'm going to pass on. These are output I'm going to getting. So that block only you change with respect to technology. You do not change everything. You change that block with whatever UI interactions. You remove them. You add APIs. Maybe another advancements in the technology as well. For the UIs, you can add computer visions for the better resilience. Then let's say with respect to, let's say, some PDF text processing, instead of regex base and digitizing the PDF and getting the regex base output. You had a document understanding. So that plug and play will always come into the help. That will only save your time. Perfect. Yeah.
Now, we spoke about managing and updating the bots to meet the evolving technology and the business needs. Now, how would you balance the need for efficiency through automation and ensuring that there is a personalized human touch also in play? How would you manage this situation, like a human bot collaboration? How would you balance the need? Is my question.
So automation can do definitely like wonders, but we always need one eye monitoring it. Unless and until it closes the loop of intelligent automation wherein we give the input, it fails, it understands where it is failing, it heals itself, it starts processing again. That stage we have not achieved it. So in those scenarios, you need to have a close eye on how it's behaving, what it is doing, okay? And then depending on the analysis, you again fine tune it, modify it, and then you go ahead.
So what you're saying is it's quite a delicate balance that you
It's a
have to
delicate balance.
strike.
Yeah.
And this reminds me where most of the evangelists have always been speaking about. You cannot automate a process end to end.
No, yeah, that's true.
That means your process is perfect, which really puts me also into a lot of doubt.
Yeah.
And hence, if you need proper governance, if you need proper control, you
Yeah.
should have some sort of a human bot collaboration,
Collaboration.
which really would ensure that you are running bots along with humans,
Yeah.
ensuring governance, but at the same time you are improving productivity,
Yeah.
and maintaining that delicate balance that we
Yeah.
kept on talking about. Fantastic. Now, whilst we've got the balance now in play with humans coming in and helping in the human bot collaboration sort of a technique. Have you ever faced a situation where the investment that you have put in automation, okay, is for example 100K, okay, and you were supposed to get these benefits in maximum 1 year after the automation has been delivered, but you have received these benefits after 2 years. Have you faced that situation? And if yes, then why did this happen?
So yeah, we face that, and majorly these challenges are faced in the manufacturing domain kind of a clients, or wherein we have this automation regarding invoices, POs, and these kind of automations. So for the larger clients or larger customers, larger organizations, we came across one scenario wherein we were automating their all the involved vendor bills and everything. But every vendor has a different template. Every vendor has their different attachment, attaching documents, way of sending the documents, mail, maybe over the hard copies which you need to scan as an Excel files and all. So to achieve that return, it is not possible in a year. You start doing it. Maybe you will out of let's say 1,000 vendors which are straightforward, you do 100 first. Then you do 200, then you do 300, then you do 400. Part by part, low complexity, medium complexity, high complexity, higher volume, low volume, and even lowest volume. You target it that way. So within a year, maybe you will be achieving let's say 20-30% of your expectations. In the second year, you will achieve even more than that. In the third year, you will be automating let's say all of the vendors. And from the fourth year onwards, you're bang on. You're achieving let's say a lot of return on your end.
Yes. So you would face these problems when you look at a staggered approach, or the anticipated benefits are received late because of technical challenges that you
Technical
create
challenge.
in processing the inputs. Sometimes I think there are chances that you would face these problems when you're delivering the output also.
Yeah.
Specifically when you're not allowed to write financial entries in SAP.
Oh yeah, that is
That is
true.
also a major challenge
Exactly.
because people are scared that you might make one small error and
Small dot
you
here
might
and there.
lose around lot of dollars
Lot of
or
dollars, yeah.
rupees or GBPs, whatever that you can name it. So yes, that is one particular
Yeah.
thing that you should be very careful of
Careful.
and be mindful when you're managing automation?
So technological challenges are there definitely, but there are challenges with respect to process and flows. So you need to be 100% sure that you know everything about the process. You know all the logics, you know all the entities involved in the process and how it works. If the business users or end user himself or herself is not sure about how it is working, you cannot put that. Even you are technologically highly advanced, you still cannot take it to the consideration.
Yeah,
So that also matters a lot.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Coming to the final question of this particular podcast, and
Yeah.
quite a wonderful conversation till now.
Yeah.
We have built automations,
Okay.
and they're built in huge numbers now.
Okay.
How are we ensuring that the cybersecurity
Uh,
is played or is looked at with a clear lens, that it is important? Okay?
Yeah.
And how are you ensuring that vulnerabilities are minimum or to zero,
Yeah.
due to these automated bots, or I would not say automated bot, due to
Automations.
how are we ensuring that?
So there can be multiple things that can be vulnerable, such as some data which is handled by your automation that could be very, very critical. For example, in the healthcare industry, the patient information is extremely critical and should not be disclosed to anyone. It is highly, highly secretive. So how you handle it? How is your data handling structure? That matters. Then credentials. If you are using very secure credentials, where are you storing them? Do you have credential vaults, or are you storing them on some particular systems and all? Or are you exposing them to the end user by storing them in the Excel or what? That plays a major part. So data, credentials, and all these entities with respect to automation are one thing. And then where this automation is running, how much that total environment is exposed to the external environment, how restricted that it is. So it should not be accessible to each and everyone. Only restricted people needs to have access to that environment and that information. And apart from that, the maintenance of this particular environment, patching it on the regular basis, upgrading your applications on the regular basis, and then upgrading automation depending on those application upgrades. That is also extremely important. And then keeping your products up to date. Like let's say you are running on the older version of some product, Studio, let's say, or the Orchestrator Studio or something like that, 2019, 2018, and currently it is running 23.4 or something. So you need to be in line with what currently market is at, or what currently is launched by the company. Because in that particular version of that product, there will be more security related enhancement, features, bug fixes, patches, and many, many things will be there. You will have a granular control over the access, you will have a cyber vault, you will have many things. So keeping the platform environment and the secure data, uh, everything to the today's technological advancement is how you can manage your threats.
Perfect. I think you rightly touched, and I was going to add, but good you added. Your automation tool also needs to be updated,
Yeah.
and should be with the latest release, at least N minus
N
one.
minus one at least.
Is because various product lines keep updating their software, so because they find vulnerabilities in their own tools itself.
Yes.
And that is where I am also a big fan of pen testing,
Yeah.
or SAST analysis that needs to be done on the bots.
Yeah.
So if we are able to do that, that would really add value. And having DevOps is the best way to manage security.
Yeah.
Is because the boards are pushed in an automated way,
Yeah.
tested version, and you don't have humans coming into play. And I think that's one point which I wanted to add, that if you want to ensure secure automations,
Yeah.
you should look at DevOps as a paramount. So that security is important when you're delivering automations. Yeah.
So a lot of organizations are now moving to DevOps,
Yeah.
and then credential vaults, and then the secure exchange of the information, and then pushing through the DevOps and CI/CD, pushing the codes to the production, having the limited access and all. They are now realizing the importance of this. And apart from all of this, there is one more thing: is disaster recovery.
Yes.
Yes. So if suppose something is wrong, something goes wrong and your entire automation environment goes down, do you have backup plans? Can you run it immediately with your DRs? Absolutely. You need to have DRs in place, at least one node. If you have a single node, if you have a small automation like a scale, then you have a less number of robots and non-critical processes, that is still fine. But if your automations are impacting business in a large scale, even 1 minute of downtime is lost to your business in some dollars. You need to have those DRs in place. Your node should be frequently tested against that, and as soon as anything goes down, your another node should be up and running, and that can happen anytime. It may happen in a day, it may happen in 5 years, but it will happen, and that's your insurance against running this automation programs. Perfect. I think this was a topic which was really important to be discussed. Yeah. Is because everybody talks about the bright aspects of automation, but these are pitfalls of automation which are not discussed. And if somebody or the RPS COE is very vigilant about these, I think they would always have automations running end to end, which would be sustainable as well as resilient. So thank you so much for providing your insights. It was a pleasure talking to you, and glad to have you again on my podcast. Appreciate you giving me your time. Thanks so much. Thanks, Supra. Cheers.